Okay, so now we are on to step 2. Once the neck is properly adjusted, we're going to move on to the bridge. So to get the bridge height adjusted properly, now the thing to remember about this is with the bridge height, it is very subjective. Like every player typically is going to want a different action height, but a good starting point with action height is if you can set it at 5 4/64 at the 12th fret, just start there. And then when you're passing the guitar back and forth with your customer, you dial it in from that point. So most people you'll find will like action at about 5/64 on the bass side and 4/64 on the treble side for an electric guitar. There are 2 other things to remember too. There are generally two different styles of bridges. This is a Tune-o-Matic bridge. You'll find these on Les Pauls. And then there's also Fender saddles. So we'll do the Les Paul first. So in order to get this dialed in, I do want to do a check first on the neck radius. And what the radius is the curvature of the fingerboard. So this is a Les Paul, so I'm going to guess that it's a 12. So I'm going to use my undersaddle gauge and just kind of read in there, and it's a 12-inch radius. So I've got my undersaddle gauge. I'm going to go here and just make sure that that actually is a 12. So I press it up and I make sure that every string is hitting the underside, or excuse me, the top side of that gauge, and it is. So I might have to make adjustments down there, like say it was like E, A, D, G, B, E. If the G was like sitting up too high, like something that looked like that, then there'd be a little space under there. So I would want to use a nut file to take that saddle slot down so it matches the radius of all the other strings. Also, you don't want to have a string underneath, so it's like E, A, D, G, B, E, because it'll be out of your picking, like the reach of the pick. So a guitar that's set up properly is going to have a nice consistent radius on the bridge as well. Tune-o-Matic bridges are very easy to adjust because you only have to make 2 adjustments at your thumb wheels. So in order to measure this, what I'm going to do is I'll put a capo on the 1st fret. So there goes the capo. That takes the nut out of the equation. And so I can get an accurate read on where the saddle heights are. So then what I do is I look here and I'm measuring from the top of the 12th fret to the bottom of the string. And I use a 6-inch ruler. So that one is at 4/64. And then this one, I'm reading from the top of the fret to the bottom of the string. It's at like a high 4/64, so it's sitting on top of that line. So what I would do is I would pop this up a little bit. So I'm going to raise it up to 5. And that's at 5. So if you look at the gauge here, at the ruler, 64ths are on this side, 32nds are on this side. So when I'm looking here, top of the fret to the bottom of the string, I'm at 5/64 and 4/64. So that one is adjusted, and I know that I have a 12-inch radius on my saddles as well. So at this point, I can stop. Let's move on to Fender.